Hello everyone and welcome to another Inside the Chess Master's Mind series where I'm playing rapid games against opponents of roughly my level and trying to explain you my thinking process and obviously try to win games and increase our elo. My opponent plays, I think we're going for Knight of Hand playing Sicilian Defense, one of the best and most solid openings in chess. I can't say solid, but it gets a lot of interesting position, and now bishop goes to d3, not the main line. Knight c3 is of course the main move, and then bishop e3 or bishop e2 or rook g1 or h3. There are plenty of options on move 6. Meanwhile, this will probably transpose to bishop d3 Sicilian. Yes, he goes c4, immediately going for Maroczy structures, and the idea here would be to play maybe knight d7 and then rook c8. Oftentimes, I need to place my knight to c6, but in this case, I think it's better to put my knight to d7 square, because then I have these different jumps of going knight c5, also a6. So, difficult position. One of the plans is to, of course, play a6 and then push b5. Let's see if I'm capable of doing it. So, I don't like this f3 move this early, because now this diagonal is kind of weakened. I mean, I still cannot, I could play queen b6, but then just king h1. Let's try to come up with something here. I'm wondering what I can do. I probably can play knight h5. The idea is, of course, to play bishop g5 next, so he probably has to go queen d2, and then I might also consider going for f5. f5 immediately wouldn't work, because there's always e takes f5, but, you know, we can potentially set this one up. Let's go rook e8. Let's simply develop. He is definitely better, so unfortunately I have to defend my position. When was this account created? Just want to check. Yeah, 2024, so that's good. And yeah, he is better, but we'll try to... Yeah, sometimes passive positions, we gotta be active. Let's say b5. Not here, but knight c5 and b5 might be quite an awesome idea. I think he has to go to maybe even bishop g5, but bishop g5, I really want to go f6, and now I think it's time for b5. I think it's finally a time to create counterplay on the queen side. Now the idea is, of course, to go rook a8 next and try to come up with something. I like this move because it helps me simplify a lot. I mean, I definitely should take. I don't see any other options that can be good. At least for now, I don't think I have anything. And after knight f4, I can hit bishop g4, so he has to come up with a different move. He cannot capture with knight, I think, because bishop g4 is suddenly a very strong option. And if bishop f4, I actually thought I'm gonna do okay. But again, there are some problems as usual. Position is not as easy. I think bishop g4 still should be considered, because then rook has to go, and then maybe knight e6. Looks interesting, to be honest, so let's go. I mean, rook e1, knight e6. And suddenly, you know, I'm slowly improving. Even though there's still not much going on. I mean, I gotta remove this knight as soon as possible. But at least I have c-file. I'm hitting the bishop. Obviously, I want to take and maybe go back to e6 with my knight, with my bishop, of course. But there is a lot of play for white too. He's still slightly better, but it's not that obvious how to use it. I mean, now, this is quite an obvious move. He has to play it. And then I guess what I can do, I can go bishop h5 and I can go bishop g6 and try to hit from this side of the board. Because again, bishop g6, knight c5, and trying to take on e4, the position looks more or less fine in my opinion. So again, it's complicated, but with time getting down and down, I think we have a chance. We have a chance, of course, to make it work. So queen goes to b4, attacks this beautiful pawn on b5. And I'm wondering if I can go something like this, queen b5, and then immediately try to hit it with either knight c5 or It's getting difficult, yes, but at the same time, I think it's still possible to play this on quite good. I'm actually wondering, so knight c5, queen b5, bishop g6, how does he protect this pawn? That's a good question, because I don't see many defenses, because I mean, once I take it, it's gonna be completely good for me. Other than that, I'm just wondering if I can play... Like, I have to kind of protect this pawn. I also gotta be careful if rook b8 there are some e5, I mean, I can take. Because this looks a bit passive, to be honest with you. But I still think knight c5 should hold, and then bishop g6. There are a lot of plays, there are a lot of ideas for both sides, but, you know, I gotta set something up. I gotta go bishop g6 for sure, and then we'll see what he will come up with. Because, okay, queen b5, bishop g6, e5, I can just take. And the thing is, knight on d5 is under pressure, so it looks somewhat good, but also the possibility of him creating two pass pawns on the queen side is not quite good, in my opinion, but I think we're still holding. And this game will be complicated, but obviously we'll try to do our best. And he's thinking for a good reason, because he's gotta do something. And he's gotta decide what to do, because suddenly he has a lot of choices to make. Because this is a weakness. I can't say necessarily like my pawn structure on the king side, because it kind of collapses. But nevertheless, I mean, yes, there are weaknesses, there are always weaknesses. But he's the one that needs to decide what to do. Let's go bishop g6. And now let's hit the pawn. Because what I was considering my calculation, I was considering queen c4, knight e4. And then I hit. But I also kind of forgot about this queen b4 option. But I think rook b8 and I can take on e4 on the next move. Yeah, he goes this. To be honest, I just forgot that he has it. Nevertheless, that's still some pressure, to be honest. Like this, rook c8. I guess that works. Because queen c4, now rook c8 comes back. Yeah, the point is he can repeat potentially, but he's up a pawn. I don't think he's going to, but we'll see. Because he'll still need to protect this pawn. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to go back and forth, and obviously I want to take on e4. If you go something like queen e3, I think I'm just better after knight e4. Let's go, rook c8. Again, creating this attack. Yeah, and this is a very solid option, which I forgot about, but fortunately it's what it is. The problem for me is he is very annoying at times. Let's go h5. h5 I don't like. Let's go knight e6. Maybe I have to play knight e7 and I gotta activate my pieces. The problem is, of course, it's tough to accomplish because he is all around my pieces. Obviously, I'm gonna try to go to c5, try to, you know, get something going. It's tough to push those pawns. It's not necessarily very easy, but it's also, I'm gonna be extremely careful of this pawn structure on the king side because it's very complicated. Yeah, he goes this. I'm wondering what happens after knight c5. Like, I gotta just keep hitting this pawn back and forth until I, you know, make him blunder somehow. Again, not an easy task, not at all. Like, it's a difficult position to play with. So, and also, I'm making sure he cannot move those two pawns at the moment. So, I'm making it very, very difficult. He goes this. Now it almost looks like I gotta strike, or I gotta go with something like queen a5 and try to, you know, keep pressing him. Now knight b3 becomes one of the very, very good ideas because suddenly, you know, he makes one passive move, he has to protect, and knight b3 becomes a real problem for him. Because if I take and then take on c3, it's gonna be quite good. What if I play... So, I assume knight e4 doesn't quite work. This. this doesn't work. But if I play something like d5, still not very good. And if I play queen b4, again, it's all about trying to set him up. Like, let's say now bishop e4, takes. Yeah, there are a lot of ideas even for white here, but let's see, he's not being careful enough. For some reason I kind of lost it in my calculation. So if I played this move, bishop b4, knight d2. Wait, so knight d4. If knight d4, I can just take. Wait, if this knight d2 wins, if this, like, I really want to go for even knight b3 might work fine. That's the reality. I think I gotta go for something like this, and then this. Yeah, let's go knight b3. I could take on e4 probably. We'll see after the game. So the idea is, of course, to take this one on d6. Now the point is, after a takes, I'll play bishop d6. I want to keep queens on the board because suddenly I'll press this knight a lot. And he will have a lot of troubles defending it, in my opinion. Because this knight is still pinned, like it cannot protect queen. Like it cannot go to b1, this bishop on b1 is terrible, bishop b5 is coming, and I have a lot of pressure, in my opinion, despite me being down a pawn. But don't forget that he has a weakness on b3 square, and it gets very, very complicated with every single move. And not only that, if he tries to move his queen out of the spin, so let's say bishop e5, now it's getting very, very tough, because even something like knight d5, now I can take, go. Wait, now I have to calculate. Takes, rook c1, rook f1. So he is basically saying he is fine. But takes. There's absolutely gotta be something that wins on the spot. I mean, I have bishop h2 at the very least. Actually, let's do it. Takes. This. Bishop h2. Now the idea is, of course, to take. And if king f2, I mean, I can recapture. Wait, but now I can take. Knight e7, I'm not forced to recapture. And I'm up in exchange. I mean, it will be a win. I'm gonna go king f8. So I still gotta be careful because he's putting a lot of threats on me. So let's go. Why don't just go rook e1? Let's just try to take this little pawn. And once I take it, I mean, yeah, this pawn is a danger, but at some point I might even sacrifice an exchange back because I have 3 versus 1 on the side that's completely winning. All I gotta do is make sure he either loses on time or I win him before the time runs out. But yeah, the position is obviously winning. I just gotta convert precisely. 3 versus 3, but obviously on different sides of the board. Let's go h6. I think it's still. Let's go actually rook b8. I just want to make sure this pawn never goes up. And if rook b2, I have this. And again, he should collapse quickly. I also gotta move one of my pawns to create a space, a little square space for the king to go to. And once that happens, it's gonna be very complicated to play this on. Yeah, he goes bishop c4. So now the question is why I cannot just take this pawn on e4. Is there something I'm missing? I honestly don't see it. So let's just take, and then take back. And rook d7, I can play rook f4. And again, he can never push because now rook controls. And so obviously this, and if this, so I'm expecting resignation to be followed very shortly. I don't think he can play this on too much. Let's go rook f2 and let's go g6. Yeah, let's go just rook f6. He can play b4, obviously. Now I'm playing g6 and g5. And now he created one more weakness. And now king g7, rook f4 is coming. Buddy, I don't think you can save this h6. And then we'll see. He doesn't have a lot of chances just because also my rooks are coming in. So let's maybe go this way and rook e3. This should end quite bad. Let's go rook f4. Let's try to put pressure, and then rook e1 is coming in. Again, h5, f5 pushes, king h6, king h5. He's down on time. He has only 1 minute left on the clock, and resignation to 2370. Let's get to the analysis. Let's see how it went down. I think I played a solid game. There were probably a lot of mistakes as well because I didn't feel quite comfortable. But nevertheless, it's a good win. It's a 17-minute game. Crazy stuff. But hopefully we can look at what went down wrong. So let's see, knight f6, bishop d3, 5, bishop e7. Yeah, bishop e7 is not correct. d5 is the main. Yeah, you see, I love the c4, and then I was worse throughout the whole game. So it's very important to actually play d5, because now I can never play d5. He got control over d5, and I experienced a lot of troubles. So I played a6. Obviously, the idea is to play b5 at some point, as we were discussing. So that's a very interesting point, because now let's say rook c1, I can go bishop g5, and suddenly I equalize, because even here I can play something like queen b6 is not very bad move, but you know, queen a5, not trading queens is just better. Queen c5 potentially trading queens on that square. So we have king d2, rook e8. Okay, I'm slightly worse again, 0.7, 0.6. And now knight e3, he gets a very good play. Rook a d1, knight c5, bishop b1, and I thought that b5 is my only plan. Takes, and now f4 is a mistake. So according to computer, he has to play bishop g5, and then my best approach is knight f6, and I have to double my pawns. If I play f6, he can just go back, and suddenly g4 becomes the idea. And if I play g6, that just doesn't look good. Knight e3, and I'm in a lot of trouble. So f4, I was quite happy to see it. Bishop g4 is a mistake. Should have gone for bishop d5, but it's tough to give it up because I'll have to play knight e6 or something. I mean, what computer recommends is just absolutely insane. Now with bishop d6, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's basically going into drawish territory, but I was like, no, I gotta play this on. It's sometimes interesting to play slightly worse positions, but at the same time, you're trying to still play for a win. So bishop g3, bishop h5. My idea was, of course, to try and take this pawn on e4. And as you might see, I was chasing him down, play knight e6, king d2, knight c5, knight c3. Not a very good move. Now rook f3, queen b4, and now bishop d6 was a mistake. You see, sometimes it's just greediness. It's greediness that unfortunately makes it hard. Like bishop d6, yeah, it looks like a logical move, but there are a lot of possibilities, and I didn't find the best one. Rook c d8 wins on the spot because, as it turns out, let's say takes, let's say rook b1 and then rook e5, and again I'm exploiting all the spins, and he is just collapsing. Now if takes, I can take with check, and queen is under attack. So I play knight b3. Now his best choice was to play this, and now I would have to play queen b6. He should have proceeded with this because let's say knight d2, there is bishop b4 and bishop protects. I actually missed it in my calculation and that's just completely winning. But he plays 8 hbp and now after bishop d6, suddenly from being +2, he is -2 and obviously it's going to be a very difficult position to defend. Bishop h5 wins the game on the spot once again because king d6, I can take, and now I'm exploiting undefended piece because I take on f3, this knight is under attack and I win a game. So knight d5, queen goes to d2, rook d2. Again, could have played queen c5, but I was like, I saw this bishop h2 idea and I decided just to go for it. Obviously, he should go king f2. I think he just forgot that he has this option, and obviously now I'm just up in exchange and have a winning position. As far as accuracy goes, I think it's quite low. I think it's like 80 or something. 79, yeah. I was close because, yeah, I didn't seem quite well. And doesn't look very good for me. So, unfortunately, not a high quality game. I sometimes play better even in bullet time controls, but as you might see, sometimes things don't go your way, but a win is a win. 2370 on the chart, and hopefully in, let's say, 6-7 episodes, we can hit 24 and then climb towards 2500. Let me know any questions you might have, and I'll see you in the future episodes. Bye-bye.